and welcome to yet another edition of your weekly international current affairs program, Globewatch from the Cameroon Radio Television, with me, Charles Ebune. This year marks 50 years since Cameroon joined the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. And this year, Cameroon equally hosted the 50th Council of Foreign Affairs Ministers of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, all here in Yaoundé, Cameroon, in a ceremony chaired on behalf of the President of the Republic by the Prime Minister, Head of Government, Joseph Diongute. Time for us to see the key aspects that bring together the Muslim world, as the organization pretends to be the voice of at least 57 countries in the world with a global population outlook of nearly 2 billion people. Sports is one of them through the Islamic Solidarity Games Federation, whose first senior vice president is my guest today. Hamad Kalkaba Malboum, thank you very much indeed for being guest on our program.
It is my pleasure, Charles.
First of all, let us start with the 50th Council of Foreign Affairs Ministers of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, which took place here in Yaoundé. As a member of one of the key arms of the organization, you were there at the opening ceremony. How did you see the event?
It was a great event, great opening ceremony. And I'm proud of my country. I'm proud because it's not easy to get the right to host this kind of event, but we got it. And that means that the whole family of the Islamic Ummah family is considering what Cameroon is doing inside that organization. So we are members since 50 years now. We contributed on our way. We contributed a lot to strengthen relationship between the member countries, and we brought ideas that could move forward the ideal of the organization. So I'm really very happy that Cameroon could have the right to host that event.
Sure. What takeout did you get from the event? You listened to the speeches from the Prime Minister, Minister of External Relations, the Foreign Minister of Mauritania, of the Gambia. There was a final communique, a press conference, the Secretary General delivered a speech, all of that. What struck your attention in all of that?
I can summarize that from all those speeches, there are two words that I can consider. First, peace. Peace inside our organization, inside the 57 member countries, is very important. Because without peace, we cannot develop our various nations inside the organization. The second word that I can consider is brotherhood, coming together and doing things together to carry the burden of our effort for development. And the third word that I would like to consider is how inside our organization we can find the solution for this problem in between Israel and Palestine. So this is something very important because all the world is looking at that program, and Cameroon, who is going to take the lead of the Council of Ministers, will work hard for achieving this goal to bring two countries, neighboring countries, together between Israel and Palestine.
One of the key missions of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation is to bring people together, what they call as the summary of the Muslim voice. And one of the ways in which you do that is through sports. Therefore, the existence of the Islamic Solidarity Games Federation. How unique is that part of the arm in the entire ecosystem?
You know, the mission of sports globally at the world level, like a few weeks ago, we had the Olympic Games in Paris. Sports could gather the youth of the world. More than 11,000 athletes are living together in one village, sharing ideals, sharing communication, or sharing brotherhood and fraternity. So I think sports inside our organization, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, is very important. Even Our sport association is a member of one of the affiliated member of the organization of Islamic Cooperation. I'm working for that organization since 1994. Then we grew. We could organize in 2005, after the Olympic Games in Athens, the first edition of the Islamic Solidarity Games. More than 50 countries could attend the event. And later on, we went to Indonesia, and then to Azerbaijan. And in 2001, in Turkey, in Konya.
Konya in Turkey.
Yeah, so the event is taking a very serious importance in our life. Our youth is coming together to share the ideal of peace and the mission, the fundamental mission of Islam first, and then the ideal of sports, all of it together. So I think the Islamic Solidarity Games, we wanted to host it next year. Okay. Unfortunately, it didn't work. But I think it is a very important event that could bring an important contribution to our search for peace.
The games have been existing for 39 years now. The membership of the Islamic Solidarity Games is 59 countries as opposed to 57 for the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. Why did you people choose the name Solidarity Games and not simply Islamic Games?
This is a very important question, because even when in 1994, our late president of the NOC, Professor Rene Somba, sent me as an expert to Prince Fad, who was the president of that federation. We were 13 experts from 13 countries to reflect, to think about how we can set up an event that could bring our youth in one place. So we thought of the games. Many people, they said that we can name the game Islamic Games. And I said, no, I don't think this is the right name, because in my country, our country is not an Islamic country. Our country is a republic with many religions. We cannot be an Islamic nation. So that, what do you think about it? I said our mission is to build solidarity among the Muslim community. So we have close to 35 or 40% of Muslims in Cameroon. We need to build solidarity first inside the nation between the other
religious component, Christians, traditional African,
so
animists.
That solidarity is more viable than just say Islamic Games. And then Prince Fahd decided to name this
So we can consider that you are the author of the Islamic Solidarity Games by the name.
Yeah,
the event you organized in Baku, Azerbaijan, for example, you had more than 12,000 volunteers who sent their applications for the organization of the Islamic Solidarity Games. How popular are these games amongst member states, and are other countries interested in participating too?
And I was lucky because as senior vice president, I was the supervisor of the games in Baku.
Okay.
And the president of the Republic of Azerbaijan, His Excellency Mr. Aliyev, he is the president of the National Olympic Committee of Azerbaijan. Okay. And he appointed the First Lady as the chair of the organizing committee. So we were in good hands.
Absolutely.
So he provided all the means, and even he called for expertise from the organizing committee of the two London Olympic Games to organize the games. So it was really successful.
How many people participate, for example? How many athletes do you people have in any competition, for example?
6,000 athletes were in Baku.
Okay.
I think the event in Baku was the best. Best ever. Then we start.
And averagely, how many medals can be distributed, for example, in a competition?
So I cannot say it precisely, but I think more than 200 medals that could be distributed.
In a competition. Some of the athletes who participate in the Islamic Solidarity Games possibly equally participate in other competitions around the world, like the Commonwealth Games, like La Francophonie Games, because some of these member states are equally members of those associations, or yes, those organizations, or the Olympics, which took place in Faria. There's some touring ones, of course, in Cameroon. The first name that will come in mind is Emmanuel Alogbede Eseme.
Yes, what I can say is that the best athletes from our 57 member countries are participating in the games.
Okay.
The standard of our games is certainly over the Francophonie games, but a bit under the Commonwealth games.
Okay.
So we are growing now. Now many people are showing their interest to the games because our organization is the one of the most important organizations in terms of population, in terms of economical resources. So we have the ability to organize regularly the games. Yeah. It is not the case for some other games in the world.
What are some of the key disciplines that are involved in the Islamic Solidarity Games? Possibly horse racing should be a key feature, knowing that it's very popular among the Gulf states, who are some of the key financiers of this competition, right?
Yeah, we don't yet include horse racing in our event for the moment, because only few countries can provide the horses, and they have the culture of horse racing. But for sure, we will add the event. But we have only event that
athletics, basketball.
Sports, yeah. For athletics, basketball, football, weightlifting, archery, and then we have all the events that you know in the Olympic movement. So.
This is possibly soft power diplomacy through sports to bring people together. You know the conflicts that are baffling the world today. You just spoke of Israel and Palestine. What feedback do you get in ensuring diversity, multiculturalism through sports when you organize the Islamic Solidarity Games from country to country? What is the feedback that you get, that it is bringing people together, or just a show for the cameras through television?
But one thing that I know is that on the field of politics, maybe people could be opposed, but on the field of sports, people will come together as an opponent or sharing the same environment of day-to-day life. So I think it could bring in the heart of those people the will that they will need peace. This is my observation.
Okay.
But for sure, it is not the role of sport to bring final peace. The final peace is made by the diplomacy.
This should be a very expensive organization. You should inject a lot of resources to organize it. How do you network with countries? How do you get the resources to organize them? Are the countries providing the infrastructure, and you come in with technical expertise and financial resources to make sure that they organize them?
Like it is the situation, often the host country take the responsibility to put a lot of money for that, because building facilities, not only facilities where the sports itself could be organized, but also the logistic, like the Olympic Village and the transport, local transport and feeding. So all those things has a lot of, it is a high cost. But bringing people together for the high interest of building what is important for the human being, peace, doesn't have a cost.
Sure, peace doesn't have a cost at that level. What role does a country like Saudi Arabia play in the entire ecosystem? Because in the last meeting, which was held here in Yaoundé, I heard everybody quoting Saudi Arabia. We thank Saudi Arabia for this, Saudi Arabia for this. At the level of the Sports Federation and the Islamic Solidarity Games too, is the same scenario?
Yes, Saudi Arabia is playing a key role in that, in our organization. First, Prince Fahd, the son of late King of Saudi Arabia, he was the he created the organization in 1985 in Mecca. So he was the first president. And after him, all the princes who led the sports movement in Saudi Arabia were elected as president of that organization. It means that the leadership of that organization is in the heart of the kingdom. Second, Saudi Arabia is hosting the head office in Riyadh. And third, Saudi Arabia is providing all the human and financial resources for the management of that organization. So Saudi Arabia is playing a very important role. In fact, in terms of religion, in terms of Islam, I think Saudi Arabia is the leader with the location of the Holy Mosque, Makkah and Medina, and you realize how many people around the world are visiting for the pilgrimage, the Saudi Arabia.
Hajj.
Yeah, so Saudi Arabia is playing a key role like United States is doing for the United Nations.
Absolutely. A while ago, you said that the word Solidarity Games is your coinage. Twice, you have served as the first vice president, or twice you have served as the acting president of the Islamic Solidarity Games. When you're at that level of management, what have you done concretely, or how have you contributed in reshaping the games itself?
I was playing an operational role. It is very important.
Yeah.
I tried to organize the General Secretariat in various areas.
Headed today by Ghanas.
Yes. Make an effort to organize the games. Like in Azerbaijan, it was under my interim presidency that it happened. So I think I did my best, but I kept the way that I know I was not be the president. I'm expecting to have another prince from Saudi Arabia to be, and I prepared the way for that election, and it happened. Like,
why didn't you accept the post of president?
No, because
you're already having so many other functions,
no,
African Athletics, National Olympic Committee of Cameroon.
No, it is not the individual issue. It is a collective issue. We know that if there is a prince from Saudi Arabia chairing that organization, we can get the financial support, and we can get the logistic support, and even we can get the human resources for our organization. I'm sure that I could not provide those resources from Cameroon.
Very soon the interview will come to an end. Tell me, is there any way that the Federation helps to maybe build infrastructure even at the limited level to support member countries?
Yes, you see, we are a new organization in the world of sports. But our intention is to grow and to become one of the most important sport organizations. It is in our program, our strategy, that we can support the less privileged countries where there is a need for facilities or some other form of
basketball courts, volleyball fields.
And so we have started to build a very strong strategic plan with our new president, Prince Abdulaziz bin Turki. We are in the process to finalize that strategic plan, but when that strategic plan is finalized, for sure some countries in Africa or in Asia could get the support of our organization.
Surely you must have an idea of the final conclusion of the gathering in Yaoundé. Were there any resolutions which targeted sports and the Islamic Federation Games in particular? Were there any things in that line?
I have appreciated the theme of the conference. There is a need for our countries to have transport and communication. Because sometimes people think
intra-OIC development, especially in the areas of transport and communication, they worked basically on that.
For me, this is the right choice that Cameroon made for this conference, because we have some misunderstanding around the word Islam. Many people who don't know what is Islam, they consider Islam is a way of violence. Like we are seeing Boko Haram is
Boko Haram, Al-Qaeda, Al-Shabaab, all the terrorist organizations that you can imagine.
Deeply a religion of peace, and then communication in this case is very important. We need to communicate on the culture of Islam. The peace is the fundamental target of our organization, our religion. So it is important to promote communication within the member countries. And then also communication not only communication within radio or newspapers, but also visiting people, talking with people.
Physical contact is very important.
So that's why transport is an important area of that organization. So this term was very important for me.
Okay.
As an observer.
Maybe the last question, Hamad Kalkaba Malboum, it's practically very difficult to see you at this particular time of the year with all what is happening in the sports world. My first last questions to you has to do with maybe your comments on the legacy of Issa Hayatou, who was buried few weeks ago. I had the former president of the Confederation of African Football as guest just after his funeral. To you, who was Issa Hayatou to Cameroon, to Africa, and to the world?
First of all, I would like to say that we lost a very important personality of the world of sports. Issa Hayatou was a great leader of sports. What he has done, all of us we know. We lost him, but I don't have any word to say. I can say that it is the way of life. We are coming to life, and at a certain time, we are leaving this world. So that's what happened to Issa Hayatou. I don't have any other say, but I remain very sadly improved by this loss. Anyway, we pray God to give him the right place in his paradise.
The participation of Cameroon at the last Olympics, just like in previous few editions, we came back without a medal. What should we do best to be champions in Los Angeles 2028?
We need to sit down, all the stakeholders of the process, taking the lesson from our participation to the Olympic Games in Paris, and then all of us together, the ministry, the government, the Olympic movement, the federation, we need to set up a strong strategy to prepare 2028 and 2032, because sometimes we are not well prepared. We spend money to go to participate, or we spend money to organize continental and international events in Cameroon without considering that the development at the initial, the young athlete, talented athlete, is the most important thing to do. But certainly we will take the lesson from our participation in Paris, and we will set up a strong program for the future.
Finally, you have been in the sports world for so many years and in a cross-section of disciplines. Military sports, basically your IDA in Africa as it is today, Islamic Solidarity Games, the National Olympics Committee, African Athletics. If there are two lessons you have learned as virtues of the sports world that you would like everybody, especially those who are involved in the sports administration chain, to learn, what would you like to share?
First, for me it is important to say that in sport, it is my passion. I choose to serve the values of sports. And at that time, even people around me didn't understand why it happened like that, even in the military. But because I realized that sports, the value that sports is carrying within the stakeholders and within the athletes and the people.
Fair play.
Yes, it's a very important, those values are very important for the common life, day to day. So, yes, I learned two things from my participation to sports. What hard work and humility. Those two things are also very important during the normal life of any person. Hard work to achieve and to get the betterment of your life, and humility to be connected with all the people around you. So for me, those are two important lessons that I learned from my career as a sport leader.
And with that, we conclude the interview. Hamad Kalkaba Malboum, the Senior President of the Islamic Solidarity Games Federation. Thank you very much indeed for being guest on our program.
Thank you very much, Charles. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk about, for the first time in Cameroon, on the sports inside the organization of the Islamic Corporation.
Inshallah.
Thank you.
Shukran.
Shukran. Afwan.